Hi, this is Jim Cranston from 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com, the podcast and website by for and about baby boomers. Thanks for joining me tonight for basically thinking about your way into success. So let's get started. First, a little segue though. Tonight I'm running a little late, and it's actually for kind of a funny reason because the topic I was talking on tonight was actually so much fun that I kind of lost track of the time. So, what could be better than working on something that you think is really so interesting? So, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. All right, so we've been on the theme for a few weeks now of envisioning your future and then living into your vision to find a life of fulfillment. And I also tend to often look at it from the perspective of someone who is older, just by nature of my audience and what we're all about at 7 Every Minute, targeting baby boomers and people of that age. So, people that are like in their 50s, 60s, beyond. So today I was speaking with a good friend and had to trot out that old truism of, right, the only way to guarantee failure is to not even try. I find that a particularly powerful statement and reminder in many different situations of how we often self sabotage ourselves. In this case, it was related to someone obtaining some government documents, but on a tight schedule. And if you listen to that, keep your safe voice in your head, you know you probably started too late, as in this case. And so rather than risk failure, you just don't even try. Why bother to call the government? Why bother to try and get the stuff because it's just too late, right? And everyone will agree with you that you probably wouldn't have succeeded, and your inner self won't have to deal with a potential failure. But in this case, it was someone in their 20s. And already by that early age, they'd been conditioned by society to not even try, to take the safe choice. But the road to a full life is filled with these dangerous decisions, right? Remember, as we talked about before, the very inner part of your brain is wired to keep you safe, not to have breakthroughs, not to be more today than you were yesterday, but to keep you safe. And the easiest way to do that, to keep you safe, is to do the same thing today that you did yesterday. Because, well, if you're here today, then yesterday obviously must have gone at least okay. Right? The problem with that is it kind of assumes, for one thing, that today will be the same as yesterday, that yesterday's solutions will work for tomorrow's challenges. To quote one of my mentors, James Wedmore, what got you here won't get you there. We and the world around us are constantly changing and evolving. That means that we, whether we're young or just learning about the world, or we're older and we think we've seen everything, right? We still have to also change and evolve, which of course comes right back around to goals and aspirations, right? Of course it does. Setting good goals and envisioning the outcomes we desire need to be a lifelong activity. When we were younger, having good goals would help us prepare for our older years, the next job we were going to get, whatever was the next thing that we're looking at. Now that we're older, setting good goals will still keep us motivated and engaged. I wasn't going to talk about this, but this is actually kind of interesting. Um, there's actually a lot of research going on in things that non-medical things, but behavioral things that can affect the likelihood of Alzheimer's and stuff. And it's interesting, things like goals, physical activity, having meaning, all appear to be very beneficial in helping to stave off Alzheimer's symptoms and to some degree the condition itself. And a lot happens when you actually set a goal for yourself. Suddenly your mind and your body have a reason for doing things. And so it's really very important. It's more than just, I want to get something done, so I should set a goal. When you have goals, you have meaning in your life. When you have meaning in your life, your whole body, your whole chemistry changes. But we're going to have a whole different talk about that probably one of these days. But back to, when you get to these points where you want to just kind of give up, and say, oh, it's probably just too hard. Instead, try writing down some of the little dangerous decisions that you didn't try. Maybe like dancing at the wedding or singing at a talent show, in some group that you're in. Then think about the best and worst outcomes that could have happened, right? It might have been uncomfortable, maybe even a little embarrassing, but think about any of those little chances you had tried and they had actually worked out, right? How exciting would that have been? People would say, "Oh, I remember when you sang at that party we had, for whatever," and it would have been just a fun thing. So your mind is trying to do the right thing by keeping you safe, but also by doing that, you miss out on some of the really fun things and exciting things and fulfilling things that can happen in your life. So there you have it. You have more reasons to always keep trying, especially new and challenging things. The only way we can become irrelevant in life is we give up trying to bring joy to those around us and to make the most of our lives for ourselves and for everyone. That simply is a choice each of us is free to make. Quoting from Laurie Buchanan, and she's lauriebuchanan.author, and put that banner up if we can get over there. Let's see if I can find our cursor. I saw Debt.com, they're a group I follow and friends. They had reposted this quote, and the quote was, "Whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. Whatever you are not changing, you are choosing." It's kind of an interesting quote because you've probably heard the simpler version of it, that even not making a decision is still making a decision. And this is kind of, another form of that, because if you're not trying to change whatever is going on around you, inside of you, then you're choosing to put up with it. So something to think about. And get rid of that. So dare yourself to change into what you want to be, and don't choose to be too afraid to try. The only thing you have to lose are the regrets for not trying. That's it for the evening. Thanks for stopping by. Stay healthy, care for others, but remember to care for yourself so you can always be at your very best. And then, of course, UKR7, that's the link to all the donation places for the Ukraine and people in Ukraine. Like I said, there's lots of humanitarian links. There's links of all sorts there. Please remember that the war is still going on. It's just, it's dreadful. There's no other way around it. It hasn't kind of wound down. It may not be as much in the news as it was before. If anything, it's far more dangerous than it was before. Actually, there was just a public service announcement, PSA, earlier in the week, last week, in the past 7 days in New York City, reminding us what to do in case of a nuclear attack. Oh yes, right. That's still in the wings. Not that that's something we should be in a panic about, but again, there are a lot of things going on in the world, and a lot of them are happening in Ukraine right now. So please keep them in mind. If you have the option to donate or looking some ways to be involved and donate, or if anyone asks you, just point them to ukr7.com. That's a link of, it's a page of links to other places where you can make donations. Remember, one of the best ways to care for yourself is to care for others. So as always, be true to yourself, live your life aligned with your true goals and feelings. Thank you for stopping by. If you found something interesting or useful, please pass it along. If not, please drop me a comment as to what you'd like to hear. Oh, and if you like things, please don't hesitate to make a comment, or if you see this in the repost on YouTube, put a like. It would be exciting to get more feedback, and so please think about doing that, and I would really appreciate it. Have a great week. Thanks for visiting. Remember to live the life that you dreamed of, because that's the path to true contentment. Love and encouragement to everyone, and see you next week on 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com. Thank you.